Happiness through curiosity on the Ranveer Show.
We want to understand human nature, human history, what drives greatness, what drives human conquest. Because the whole world that we live in today has been populated by humans through conquest and migration. And it is great people like Alexander and Genghis Khan who kind of serve as role models. For example, let's go back westwards to Alexander. Julius Caesar idolized Alexander. He is reputed to have visited the tomb of Alexander. And he wanted to be like Alexander, and his great lament in life was that he could never conquer as much territory as Alexander did. So Julius Caesar conquered Iberia, which is Spain. He conquered Central Europe, which is the Gallic, Celtic regions of Europe, present-day France, etc. He conquered some parts of the British Isles. Then he comes eastwards, conquers Greece, which is when Greece ceases to be a geopolitical power and becomes a part of the Roman Empire. And Julius Caesar also conquered Egypt. But he could not conquer Persia and India. So he always had this lament in him that he would never be as great as Alexander. But what drove Julius Caesar was the same instincts that drove Alexander. The same desire for glory and wealth and plunder and territory. And the same thing, the same instincts and same impulses drove Napoleon, who also idolized Julius Caesar and Alexander. When it comes to Asia, today China makes all these territorial claims on various parts of Asia, including Tibet, for example. It has conquered Tibet and it claims several parts of India. What is the basis of these territorial claims? The basis of these territorial claims is the territorial extent of the Yuan Empire, which was the Mongol Empire which had conquered China. And they claim it's a Chinese empire, even though the emperors were all Mongols. And they legitimize their territorial hegemony and hegemonic claims, expansionist claims, based on the conquests of the Mongols, who were never Chinese. So there is that legacy. And the other legacy of the Mongols, of Genghis Khan, is diplomatic immunity. Genghis Khan was probably the first ruler, probably the first ruler who instituted the tradition and the custom and the policy of giving immunity to diplomats of other nations, including those who he was fighting with. That's one thing. Postal system, he instituted a Eurasia-wide postal system based on horses who could travel really fast. He invented the military strategy of blitzkrieg that the Nazis copied. Concentrated force in one place, and then you make a hole through the defenses, then you move through and forget the defensive fortifications and walls. They made the Great Wall of China completely obsolete, the Mongols. They created the world's largest free trade zone in human history, and so many more things. Many of the things that we take for granted today were first thought of by the Mongols, by Genghis Khan. And so much more.
For the sake of military expansion.
Mm-hmm.
And then that led its way into what we know as modern day civilization.
Another thing I forgot to mention is that he had religious freedom. Genghis Khan did not convert anybody to his religion of Tengrism, which is a polytheistic religion. Some people imagine that Genghis Khan was a Muslim because he is Khan. He was not a Muslim, and the Muslims have taken the Khan surname from the Mongols. So there is that. And he had this policy of religious freedom, means whichever territory he conquered, he did not force the people to change their way of life or to change their religion. He conquered Khwarezm, which is Persia and other parts of Central Asia. He allowed, of course, at some point in time, he did bring down some mosques, and he built some temples on top of them to some extent, because those mosques were built on top of ancient Buddhist or Hindu temples.
Temples of his own
Buddhist temples or Hindu temples.
He would rebuild the Buddhist and Hindu temples.
Yes, he is said to have rebuilt some temples by knocking down mosques in the Khwarezm region. And he had banned, and his descendants like Kublai Khan had also banned the practice of the Islamic slaughtering of animals, the halal thing. So there were certain things that were there, but mostly there was religious freedom. So these are the legacies of the Mongol Empire. Very tolerant, very open empire, free trade. You could practice whatever religion you want, more or less, with certain restrictions and so on. So overall, much better than the European conquests of the world, where you had complete destruction. And whatever plunder was taken by the Mongolian expansions, that was all put back and recirculated in the economy. And the one permanent, Alexander built one permanent thing, which is the city of Alexandria, Alexandria in Greece. The Mongols built nothing, except for one thing: bridges. They built bridges everywhere. And some of them still stand.
I wonder how Genghis Khan is perceived in modern day Mongolia. Because there's something called Mongolian throat music, Mongolian throat singing.
The Who.
Where they sing like that.
Yes.
They put on a voice and sing. And it's very, very transcendental music also. It can be extremely meditative to listen to Mongolian throat singing.
Yes.
But for viewers who are interested, go and search for music videos after this podcast, almost at the end, of Mongolian throat singing and especially rock songs.
Yes.
There are some incredible songs where the music videos actually depict the warriors who fought with Genghis Khan. So I think that they're still revered. Like that legacy of Genghis Khan is extremely revered in Mongolia. And I would argue that his genetics are spread across China. So
Possibly, yes.
at least it's mixed. It's mixed for sure. Controversial statement, but this China's expansionist policy, geopolitically speaking, somewhere's got that legacy of expansionism from Mongolia.
Well, the Chinese Communist Party has a completely different kind of DNA. They have a Marxist DNA, and they don't mind expanding based on their military strength. And they both hate Genghis Khan and want to embody him in some way.
That's what I wonder. I wonder how he's perceived in China today.
In China, as a conqueror, as the guy who conquered their country, he is reviled and he is hated. And there is an explicit ban in Inner Mongolia, which is Chinese-occupied Mongolia, on any mention of Genghis Khan and on even teaching the history of Genghis Khan. His name is blacklisted. The Chinese fear him so much even today. But they want to use the expansionism of the Genghis Khan Empire, of the Yuan dynasty, as the basis of their own hegemonic territorial claims. It's a very weird relationship they have, a love-hate relationship. Mostly hate relationship, but they don't mind using his conquests as the vehicle for their own territorial claims. And in Mongolia, he is seen as the father of the nation. He is seen as the father of the nation, and his wife Borte is seen as the mother of the nation. So in Mongolia, they essentially worship him like the greatest shaman who ever lived. That sort of thing.
Hey, if you enjoyed this clip from the Ranveer Show, we've uploaded a ton of other clips related to a ton of other topics. So explore the channel because there's something for everyone.